Hello and welcome to episode 139 of Nintendo Therapy, a show about the latest Nintendo news and rumors, as well as a celebration of all of the things Nintendo. My name is Kevin. I am sorry that we took an unexpected break last week. Sean and I, just all three of us, really weren't able to get together. It happens sometimes, but the majority of the time we make it here, and we're back now this week. Harrison is back with me. How you doing, Harrison?
I'm good. And if you're watching on YouTube and things look different, I'll address that right now and just say that a couple weeks ago I had a more of a minor accident. I did break my shoulder and I did mess up my face a little bit. Living in Thailand, everyone's been asking if it was a motorcycle accident. It wasn't. I
You
don't.
should embrace that.
I should just say it's boxing if I'm going to embrace
Yeah,
something.
there you go.
There's a lot of people
Say you saved a woman who was getting her purse stolen or something. Like,
right, but no, it was actually just an accident at my home, and I was thinking about not showing myself today, but hey, like you just got to see kind of my black eye that it doesn't even hurt anymore. It means it's getting better, and hey, it is what it is. People say that I have a face for podcasting. I don't know what that means, but I think that's a compliment.
um,
I think that's a good
yeah,
thing.
and just giving the listeners the heads up, I think I told you this, Harrison. You might be learning this for the first time. I won't be around for next week's episode, but Sean said he should be, so you could record with him. But that'll be, and then after that, we should all be back together again. So, looking forward to that. Anyway, so this week in Nintendo and also last week, because we took it off, they announced a few games coming to Nintendo Switch Online, which I just thought we'd touch on real quick. Klonoa Empire of Dreams is now on the Nintendo Switch Game Boy Advance service. This is another game I've always wanted to check out because I liked the PlayStation version or the PlayStation Klonoa game. So hopefully I finally find the time because I like that this series has been getting the respect it deserves lately. The PlayStation game got a re-release. Now they're putting this out there. They're probably testing the waters for a new installment. It seems like that's yeah, it's a cool side-scrolling series from back when console games were like ashamed to be a side scroller. I don't know why they didn't do more. They had Mischief Makers, they had this, they had the Yoshi story games that were good. And you know what it makes me think of? It makes me think of how I remember hearing stories of there wasn't a Metroid game on the Nintendo 64 because they weren't able to crack how to translate Metroid into 3D quite yet. And they made like a few attempts, but they didn't like any of them. Well, they could have just made a 2D Metroid game and it would have looked awesome. Like imagine something with the graphical quality of Yoshi's story, but it was Metroid. It would have been cool. So I don't know why they didn't. But anyway, the other game that's coming is Mr. Driller 2. That's also on Game Boy Advance service. That's like an arcade style game. So some two good additions.
Right. Yeah, we should do more deep dives in Game Boy Advance. That's a really interesting area.
Yeah.
I bet if we deep dive, we would find that Nintendo perhaps didn't really know where to go with that one.
Yeah,
Because
I remember in the beginning it was very focused on being a portable Super Nintendo because at the time the Super Nintendo was only one generation old. So they were like, hey, you can take Super Nintendo games on the go now, and it was exciting.
yeah, and yeah, in the era of like everything needing to be 3D, it feels like nothing has really changed in the era of everything just needing to have like open world, which I want to talk
Yeah.
about with Metroid as well today. And I saw I'll shout him out next week because I'll remember it. Somebody did a video that I've been thinking about. Basically, how he talks about how Breath of the Wild has actually been a detriment to Nintendo because now everything has to be Breath of the Wild, pretty much. And I was thinking about that because like Mario 64, of course, is a great
Mhm.
game and revolutionary game, but then everything needed to be 3D, not just because of that game. But
It's funny, there's one moment specifically that they keep trying to recreate, and that's, like, when you first exit that first cave in Breath of the Wild, and he runs out to the cliff's edge, and you can see the whole Hyrule world around you. They've done that in, like, several games since. They did that in Kirby and the Forgotten Land, they did that in, Donkey Kong Bonanza. They've done it in a few games where it's like, "Oh, here's the reveal of the world, pan around," and I don't know,
they
it's
do
funny
it
that that's a beat that they're focused on.
They do it in Genshin Impact. They do it
There you go.
in Immortals Phoenix Rising, like talking about other games.
Mhm.
They did it in the PAL Farm reveal, which we're not going to talk about today, but they did it in the PAL Farm reveal, like the do 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 do, and I'm like,
Mhm.
like of course, but whatever. Like they also did it in Echoes of Wisdom when they pan out and you see the 2D whatever top down, like whatever we call it,
Yep.
top down to the side. So
Need to
not
have that story beat now.
yeah, not to veer off too much. Yeah, I might check out some of these GBA games this week because I don't know Klonoa, I don't think, and we needed more of them. So
Mhm.
yeah, yeah,
I've never played this one, like I said, but the PlayStation game was really cool. It was a side-scrolling platformer on PlayStation, and, I liked it a lot.
it's so many PlayStation games on Nintendo. So many PlayStation games on the Switch console, which is cool, which is cool. I wanted to talk about the Rect a little bit, like a little bit lightning round. But speaking of PlayStation, did you ever play any of the Fatal Frame games?
No, but I always wanted to. Didn't Nintendo have a franchise that's like their own IP that was similar to Fatal Frame? Some sort of horror game that was on the GameCube. I'm trying to think of now.
I don't know because Fatal
'Cause I
Frame was on the GameCube.
that might be what I'm thinking of. It might have been a GameCube exclusive.
It
Is
might have
that
been.
possible? Okay. So that might be what I'm thinking of. What
Uh,
about it?
Yeah, you might be right. Like that sounds correct, but uh, I've I've been waiting to see if a remaster of this new game, what is it called? Crimson Butterfly. I've been waiting to see if this one would come because it was on GameCube, I remember. If it would eventually be remade or remastered to the Switch or Switch 2.
Hmm.
And it does offer just a little bit of variety. You know, when I was going, like last night when I was going through what we had in the direct again, it's one of the remasters that kind of stands out in that way, along with it being a PlayStation game, right? So,
Yeah.
so, so
And, they've got tons of ports coming over too. Then you've got all those Resident Evils they've announced. You've got, what else? They've got all those old Final Fantasy games on there. Metal Gear Solid Classics Collection is on there. A lot of PlayStation on the Switch.
yeah. And I believe we saw at least a few extra seconds of.
Spyro and sorry to interrupt, but
Mhm.
Spyro and Crash Bandicoot both have collections.
Right, right. Yeah, give us more of that. Why not? Uh, yeah, Resident Evil, we saw, I think, a few extra seconds in the Nintendo Direct of the trailer that we had not seen at Gamescom or wherever they had shown it initially. So I'm sure that would run well on a Switch 2 console, and
Hopefully.
that's cool. Like that's definitely cool. I don't know if I would actually Do you play Resident Evil games? Do you have any?
I fell off. I was super into Resident Evil in the beginning. Like I played everything up to, well, I don't remember the release order, but I played Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, Code Veronica, and 0. Like I was like, I don't know if I was day one purchase, but I was definitely year one purchase on those. And I was super into it. And then I fell off around, I bought Resident Evil 4 on my Wii. And I know this is going to sound crazy to some people because they talk about Resident Evil 4 like it's the greatest thing that ever happened to the franchise. I did not like Resident Evil 4. I've been meaning to do a replay of it, and I probably will at some point just to see if if something has changed over the decades. But yeah, I kind of stopped it about Resident Evil 4 because I didn't like the shift in how it controlled. I liked the tank controls of the originals, and I thought it really added something to the survival horror aspect that, like, when something jumps out at you, you kind of panic for a second and you don't know how to control your character. And like that, I don't know, it just added a little something to it for me. But I'm willing to go back and take a look. But anyway, that's a long answer for if I was into Resident Evil. I played everything up to 4.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I I can't believe how popular the newer games are, or I guess how popular the
Mhm.
franchise has just continued to be over time. So, so yeah, would I check it out? Yes, but would I check it out for $70? I guess not. But I'm super pumped that it's
Those will
coming.
go on sale though.
Oh
At
yeah,
least the ones that are already on the Switch go on sale all the time. So
yeah, yeah. So, just transitioning off that, along with this week, you have your segment, which goes along with Mario's 40th. I want to talk about the
correct.
direct, and I also want to talk about Doug Bowser. So, you're the
All right, so
host.
more Mario 40th conversation coming up. But first, Harrison's thoughts on the Nintendo Direct.
So I'll bounce
Right
some,
before a word from our sponsor.
yeah, I'll bounce some things off of you. Well, I'll just start by saying that Hades came out. We're recording this on a Thursday, no, Friday evening in America. Came out 2 days ago, officially.
Mhm.
It feels kind of interesting because it's been in early access on Steam. It's officially released on Steam and maybe PC. I don't know. And it's released on
Yeah, that
Switch.
screwed me up when I was trying to find the release date for a coworker. They were asking me, and all I could find was the date that the early play testing started, and I'm like, the early access rather, and I'm like, no, I know the full game's not out yet.
Yeah,
Where is it?
now it is.
Yeah.
So now it is. So it's like a PC. It's a console exclusive. Okay, like if you got PlayStation or Xbox only, too bad for you guys. But you know, my point stands that if Supergiant got a check from Nintendo for it, I'm happy for them. Like, cool. It is the highest rated PC game. It is not a Metacritic must play yet, but I think it might end up being one. And yeah, every Nintendo initial review had it really high, like 4 out of 5, 9 out of 10, 95%, 100%. Just and I'm super pumped to get into it. I've mentioned on here Hades is just one of my favorite games of all time. Um, but I need the energy. I don't have the energy for it. I hurt. I'm in pain. I hurt. Um, so I can't do it right now because I know when I start playing Hades, I'm going down. I'm gonna be thinking about it, playing it. Just it's an
Yep.
investment for me. Some games are so good you just got to avoid it sometimes. So, game of the year
Yeah, you gotta
nomination
do it right.
for sure, along with Silk Song, and it's just kind of rounding up that year. No doubt. I mean, it has to be one of the best games to play, best newer games to play on a Switch or Switch 2 right now. But it's a cool year for indies. So hell
Mhm.
yeah. Well, anyways, I also want to talk about how I'm going to do one people talking about online thing in here. I want one every episode. Just
Yeah.
like I'll take that. Um, I've been seeing people say, "Well, you're just upset because you didn't get the game you wanted. You didn't get a 3D Mario game or a Zelda game." And my answer is yes, I am. Yes, I am. I've said on this podcast that the Switch 2 needs to come with a 3D Mario game, especially with this anniversary, or a Zelda game, or a Smash Brothers, or perhaps a Mario Party, or maybe an Animal Crossing. Mario Kart was good. I think that was a good idea. But
I agree that it's really weird. Anniversary aside, though, I'm starting to think and see. I don't remember where the first time I read this was, but I dismissed it at first, and now I think, oh no, they were right. Um, I think Nintendo isn't viewing the Switch 2 as much in the traditional way you would look at a new system, and they're more like, this is our premium option for our premium gamers. The more everything, all the price reveals and stuff happen, I'm like, you know what? I think that's actually what they're doing. They're separating the Switch for the regular consumer and like the Switch 2 for the someone who wants to be a little more invested. And I'm not here to say whether or not that's a good idea. I just think that's why we don't have a lot of exclusives right now. Is they can't do like the new, but you know what? No, they could, because they could just do a new 3D Mario game that is also available on Switch. Like it's time to have one. So that doesn't really excuse that, but I think it is a lot of like how they're thinking right now. Is they're not really seeing this as a new starting point.
I think the system is fine and the messaging is really bad right now.
Yes, I
I
agree.
think that's what I think that's what it is. Like, imagine if Nintendo was like, "Listen, guys, the Switch is doing great. We're keeping it rolling. Switch Pro, Switch Pro.
Hmm.
Not it's a Switch 2 though. It's a Switch 2, guys, but it's Switch Pro. Okay, Switch Pro. Just keep that in mind. Uh, and if you're someone who you have one way of playing some of these games, I don't think this is a bad investment, even at this point. So
Yeah.
I really want to push the nuance of these conversations because I'm super critical of some things Nintendo is doing outside of maybe what we would talk about on this podcast. The litigious parts, maybe the parts that are a little bit more controversial, but also a little bit more boring too. You know?
Well, it's getting to the point where when we eventually do get our new 3D Mario game, it's gonna part of the conversation is gonna be dominated by people saying like, "Why did we have to wait for this?" Or like, it's all the articles are gonna be like, "It's about time," or like, it's like that's gonna be such a big part of the narrative for that game that it might even overshadow the game itself.
They say like some people just are saying like, "Oh, if you don't get the game you want every year, it's not that. Every 8 years. It's
Mhm.
every like I'm not asking for a new 3D Mario every year. I'm saying it's been 8 years. I'm saying it's in development. Like it's
Yeah.
obviously in development. So,
I mean,
where is it?
I'm just glad that this is a direct where I didn't see 100 things I wanted, so I can finally catch up on my backlog, but it is I would like them to unveil more games that I want, but I'm also kinda happy that I'm like, "Okay, cool, I'm still just pretty much sticking with Metroid and that's it for the year, so alright." But yeah, if they I mean, I'm really hyped for Galaxy 2. I don't know if you listened or the last podcast Sean and I recorded, but that's one of the only Mario games I haven't played. So I'm really happy they brought that over. It's literally just that and New Super Mario Brothers 2 are the only ones I haven't played. So now I can finally play that one. And that'll be cool. But I know it's not new, but it's new to me. So that's cool, but not the same thing.
Yeah, I'm Galaxy 2. I, I don't know. Like Galaxy 2 for $40 sounds fine to me.
Yeah.
Galaxy 1 again sounds ridiculous. So I'm
Well,
really
I
torn
think
on
it's
it.
good, but I'm happy they did it that way. I agree with you. I wouldn't pay $40 for Galaxy One, especially because I have it in my 3D All Stars. But I'm happy they did it that way, keeping in mind the people who do have 3D All Stars, because they could have made this just a $70 game where you don't have the option of buying them separately, and said whatever, 3D All Stars was limited time. This one's permanent. And yeah, like I know you shouldn't get credit for when you don't do the bad thing, but I am happy that they separated them so that I can just buy Galaxy 2 since I already own Galaxy. I wonder if that's gonna show in the sales because I've seen that like it's already like a top seller for the month in pre-orders, but over time, I wonder if that version of Galaxy will sell less because of the people who have it on 3D All Stars.
I think consumers should be slightly motivated to not buy it
Yeah.
because it's going to be released again. It's going to be released
Yeah,
again,
and you can
guys.
find a copy of 3D All Stars for $70 and get it, so
Yeah. So I was torn on that part because it's like, yeah, I might spend $40 to play a game I haven't played yet. Uh, but the fact that I did buy 3D All Stars 5 years later, I'm like, man, like like what was the point, you know? Um,
I also wonder if those rumors are true. You know how we always talk about how Nintendo will sit on finished products and wait for the right time to release them? When 3D All Stars was coming out, there were people on, in the know on the inside who said that they wanted to have Galaxy 2 in that collection, but it wasn't finished in time. So I wonder if this is part of that same project and they just saved it.
what did that add to it?
Just the new pages, but
Oh yeah.
they did upres it, and no, it was always widescreen, so that's not new. But um I don't know. They look a little bit nicer.
So that part I was mixed on, and I'll do one more sort of critical before, and then we'll do lightning round for games that I'm looking forward to. Uh, the DLC part was the most logical thing that corporate Nintendo would lean towards since it's already happened in the gaming market. Uh, having games with flex pricing, but then having DLC. Um, like I I really hate DLC that is even early. Like before a game comes out is ridiculous, but
Yeah.
early, it's like Nintendo's gonna start selling us season passes at some point. If we
I
don't
mean,
if we don't speak up.
I agree with the sentiment I've heard online where not always, but in most cases, if DLC is announced before the game is even released, that's just cut content. That's just content that should have been in the game. DLC should be something that comes like at least 6 months later, maybe a year, you know?
I'm not saying like don't play the games or don't play the DLC, but I think we should be responsive in this because it will lead to Nintendo eventually like selling us season passes for games that we play. It will lead towards that. Does it like the train's never late. Like I just want to talk logically on that. I really hate it. It really took out my motivation for playing the new Pokemon game. I think I will, but I'm upset about it. I really am because Pokemon was like the game where like I could save my allowance for a few weeks and I could go buy it. On my Game Boy, which I bought for like $70 at Target or Kmart. And now it's like $100 experience. And then you have content that is locked not only behind the online service, which I think is a good deal, $20 a year, whatever it is, but then it's also locked behind ranked content. I'm not playing ranked. I ain't doing that, man.
Hmm.
Like that, it's cool, but like I don't do the competitive stuff. So the initial uh, players I've seen, like people that have played it, say that the game is really fun, but it lacks everywhere that we've talked about already. So that was it. The DLC is off-putting, but it was expected to me. Um, so let's go, let's go, let's go. Mario Tennis Fever. Any feelings on that?
I'm definitely buying that. That looked I haven't played a Mario Tennis game in a while. That's not a series where I like buy every single installment. So that's one where I'm like, yeah, you know what? It's been a minute. I'm in the mood. I'll buy this. The adventure mode is what sold it for me. I was like, oh, that looks really cool. That you can like practice your skills in like a single player campaign. So hopefully it's not something that's over in 40 minutes. But yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah, I thought Aces needed to like trim the fat a little bit, or like there was like a
Mhm.
lack of focus in Aces. So at least for me, I did not have a good time with it. I'm so hopeful that we can have good Mario sports games. All right. How about Yoshi and the Mysterious Book? Um, First,
Again, buying that one as well.
yeah,
These are all for next year, obviously.
yep.
So what I said previously about Metroid being it for this year, that's this year. 2026, though, I'm definitely getting both of those. I'm really excited for a new Yoshi game. I like that it kind of looks like a mix between the art style of Yoshi's Island mixed with Yoshi's Story. Like it's got like that pop-up book almost aesthetic that I think is really cool. Like smoother than the crayons, the crayon drawings in Yoshi's Island. I don't know. It looks really cool. I just really wish we would get Yoshi outside of side scrolling at this point. I know at the beginning of this episode, I talked about how they needed more side scrollers in the Nintendo 64 era, but Yoshi is a franchise that's almost exclusively been side scrolling. And I'm not saying you need to do an open world. I'm not saying you need to do a big 3D thing, but you could do something like 3D World, Super Mario 3D World, or you could do something like um, Kirby. What was the Kirby game I just played? Forgotten Land. Kirby Forgotten Land. It's like levels, but it's still 3D. So you could do something like that. Get him out of that side scrolling, man. Yoshi's done it enough.
Crafted World was 2018 or 2019.
Yeah, and even that was side scrolling. It just had like a 3D like overworld.
Now, this might be the biggest gap that we've had. I didn't look it up. It
Mhm.
might be the biggest like gap of like a mainline Yoshi game. Definitely interested in
I
it.
thought it was really interesting that there were no eggs in that trailer, but they have to be in the game because they're in the logo. And
Yeah,
I use the word have to, but I think they're in the game because they're in the logo. But we didn't see any eggs in that trailer, which was interesting.
I'm interested to see where they go with this one. I thought Crafted World was a really decent game, but it just clearly wasn't for me. I like that you could play games in reverse, or the levels
Hmm.
in reverse. But uh, for me, after maybe 10 hours or so, um, it clearly is a game that's not for me. I think this one looks like it might be more nostalgia and then more like also for children as well. So I'm excited to see what direction they go. I love Yoshi. Yoshi's my favorite.
But you know what? More on me applauding Nintendo for not doing the bad thing. Good on them for making a brand new game instead of just finally bringing Woolly World over, which we're still missing. They could have totally brought Woolly World over, charged $60 for it, and called it a day. But they made us a whole new game, so thank you.
I'm sure it's coming though, and it could be 60,
I
it could be
hope so.
could be 60, could be
It's
50.
like
Who
the
knows?
only Wii U game left. It's literally like the only Wii U game besides the Zelda HDs that Nintendo hasn't put on Switch.
I've been seeing a lot of Wii U nostalgia with the Switch 2 coming out. People were like, it
Yep.
was the last Nintendo generation. It was the last good one. I'm like, okay,
Mm.
okay. I guess
Well,
people.
people miss desperate Nintendo is what they miss because that console wasn't selling, so we were getting crazy deals in the Wii U days.
Right, right.
Too bad they didn't just make good games. That's all we wanted. Like they didn't make a 3D Mario for that system. 3D World doesn't count.
All right, All right, going quick. Dinkum is coming over to Switch and Switch 2. I predicted that correctly on this podcast, a while back. Uh, it's basically like an Australian Animal Crossing with dungeons, kind of like Zelda. So like, I just knew this game was meant to come to Switch at some point. Um, I believe they might have shown PC footage during the direct, which if they did, not so good. But um,
Mhm.
I'll I'll do some research on that one. But it's a super fun game. And hey, if that sounds interesting to you, like a Animal Crossing game with like kangaroos and like gators that can kill you, like or whatever we can see on YouTube, whatever we can say is there. Uh, Tamagotchi life, any interest there?
No, I have more interest in Dinkum, but no, I'm not really interested in that.
It is cross gen. Just noting that not not too much on the exclusives yet, but I thought this new trailer made me more interested in it. And if you need more, we're getting a second Air Riders direct. 45 minutes wasn't enough, Sakurai. I don't
Yeah,
care.
that's crazy.
Like, like Sakurai has so much like charisma, that hey, if you want some more time, I'm sure I'll watch it. I'm sure I'm tuning in. Asian Imprisonment finally got a release date for November 6th. Uh, High hopes for that game as far as performance goes, and
Yep.
and that's it. But we finally got a release date. And then you know, I'm so overwhelmed with the Dragon Quest series, but the Dragon Quest 7 remaster spring 2026 looks awesome. It looks more like the Dragon Quest Builders series. Like, it looks very, very
It
cute.
looks like what I wanted the Final Fantasy VII remake to be, where I was like, "Can you please just give me the game I love where it doesn't look like they're all made out of Legos, please? Like, can you just do that?" And they couldn't. They wanted to remake the game from the ground up and completely change the story, which is not what I wanted. So yeah, this looks like more of what I wanted there.
Yeah, there's some questionable characters in Dragon Quest. Even ones I can't really even talk about on this podcast because it's not even like but yeah, it looks very cute. It looks very nice. And online, I see people say, "Oh, like this is like it's a great game, Dragon Quest Seven." So I don't know, like do I just quickly play through the first ones and or do I just play this one? Because I guess I'm jumping into Dragon Quest this generation. Um, there's so many excuses now. One remastered, one, two, three, now seven. I don't know where to go with it. And I'll share my take on Virtual Boy and then let you go. I have no problem with it being released, assuming that they're going to continue to support the other systems and eventually add the DS onto the system as well. I'm sure they will. I think they should have added the Virtual Boy controller with the headset, or at least had the option to do it. And
Yeah.
I think they really should give the option of like a $20 option of buying this digitally or maybe even physically as well. Because let's say someone doesn't want the service, but they're like diehard Virtual Boy fan.
Hmm.
I think they should have
Yeah.
given the option for that. And hey, $20, Nintendo, come on. It's like 12 games that nobody plays.
I don't necessarily think they won't do that in the future. I think Nintendo is very much about like what's going on right now. They're like, right now we got our Nintendo Switch Online service, and that's what we push. If like the Switch 3 for some reason drops the service and goes back to paying per game, I could totally see them releasing another Virtual Boy for that generation, you know? So this is just I think what the moment is about. And I was really this was my most excited thing in the whole presentation. I loved it. I can't wait to get it. I don't mind the $100 price tag for it either. I saw a lot of people complaining about that, and I'll reiterate what I said last podcast. You have to keep in mind that this isn't an item that's being sold in stores. If it were, probably would have been cheaper. This is a niche item going to an audience of people who subscribe to a subscription service. It's for them. So it's a collector's item in essence. And people pay $100 for a statue all the time. It's the same thing. It's $100 collector item. It is there $100 worth of plastic in it? No, but there's not $100 worth of plastic in the statues people buy either. So that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, the cardboard I couldn't believe. Like can we move on? Labo, come on,
I
let's
just
go.
hope that cardboard one isn't a sign that these are gonna like sell out and I'm gonna have to buy one from a scalper and they're never gonna restock them. That I just hope the cardboard isn't an indication of that. But if I can get one, then I'm happy. If it turns out I never am able to get a hold of one, then I'll be pretty upset.
I think the cardboard is just for like, hey, like if you have the service and you want to play the games, you're not gonna do the $100. And also, there's gonna be tons of Etsy or third-party people that are going to make Virtual Boy headsets. Maybe like all different themes or colors, um, or whatever it might be. Like maybe you get a Super Nintendo
Yeah, and they'll charge
colored,
$300 and no
you
one
know.
will care.
But yeah, I mean, if they're supporting the system, I mean, it kind of felt like a troll at the time, but I'm fine with it. And yes, they should give us the controller, or give
Yeah.
us the
I
100.
wonder if that was an intentional decision since the Virtual Boy controller is kind of terrible, but I you're right, that is them leaving money on the table because I would have bought one. And I'm sure I'm not alone.
Yeah, imagine like $100 headset or $120. You can get the controller, which is horrible,
Mhm.
but it's $20, and it's part of the collection, right? I mean,
Yep.
if I'm splurging, if I'm doing it, I'm getting the $120.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna get just the one thing. I'm gonna get, why not? So I
Yep.
I'm surprised they did not have that on there. Uh,
Maybe some third party company will make that too.
yeah, yeah. We mentioned Fatal Frame. Speak of Game Planet will be like $3. I'll be picking it up instantly. Speak of Game was awesome. I for sure got at least 10 hours out of that $3 game. So yeah, I'll pick that up. Uh, I had a backwards feeling about this new Metroid Prime trailer. How did you feel about this open world motorcycle kind of? kind of trailer.
I'm hoping it's not open world. I'm hoping it's more like I don't know if you've ever played Twilight Princess, but it's like it's not open world, but each section of the world is kind of big. And I'm hoping it's something more like that, where it's like segmented. And like, that motorcycle was just transportation from one segment to another. Hyrule Field in Twilight Princess is exactly what I hope they're doing here.
I hope so. I I thought it looked kind of rough, honestly. Like when in the initial trailers, when things are more close up, and I'm sure it's going to be a fun game. I'm
Mhm.
almost positive it's going to be a fun game, but I'm worried that they restarted it maybe twice already, and then they're talking, and then again with like 3D Mario, they're thinking about we have to make this work on both systems somehow. And yeah, and like, do we need more motorcycles? Zelda got a motorcycle. Pokemon's got basically got a motorcycle. Uh, Everyone just has to have something that they ride on. But I guess it's kind of cool. At first, I thought it might have been a new game. I was like, "What is this? Hold on, like, is this like a
I
Metroid
did
S?"
too. Yeah, I definitely didn't think it was Metroid at first. And even when I like clocked that it was Metroid, I was like, "Oh, are they doing like a Metroid spin-off with Prime?" Like I thought it was like its own thing.
Uh, Pokemon Pocopio, I thought might have been Dragon Quest Builders because it sure looked like it. But mixed feelings. Looks cute. I love Ditto, one of my favorites. And it's hilarious that they're releasing a game that looks like Minecraft while they have all this litigation going on. That's all. But do I want to play it? It depends on how much the price is because um, I do love crafting, farming, all of those type of games. So I am
Mhm.
interested. The last one was Fire Emblem, which would have been a good prediction. Because I was thinking like, what's gonna be at the end? Like, what if we did get a new Animal Crossing? Are we gonna get a 3D Mario? So I was thinking about it. But a lot of people are excited about it. This is not my franchise. Any feelings about this game coming out?
No.
No?
What you put in your
2026.
notes if you had nothing to say about it.
Well, I just want that was the last one. It was fast.
Oh, okay. It's
It
just
was fast,
just just wondering.
and I just wanted to say because I felt like I had to say like what was at the end
Okay.
because I wanted to like
Yeah, it did
bring
cap it off. You're
I
right.
didn't want to bring it home that like there are games coming out for the Switch 2 in 2026,
Mhm.
and a lot of them are coming for the original console as well. That's it. That's all. That's all. That's all. Okay. Okay. Um. So Doug Bowser retired,
Yeah, that
or
announcement kinda came out of
he's going to
nowhere. I
retire.
mean, not that we would get any indication that it was coming, but I didn't expect it.
It's weird that someone would not want to be an executive or something in America at this time.
Yeah.
Isn't that strange? I would think people would want to have jobs like that right now. And I'm being completely
Yeah.
sarcastic. I'm being absolutely sarcastic at that. Um, yeah. So he leaves at the end of the year. Devin Pritchard will become president. Satoru Shibata becomes CEO in November. Overall, there's not really big shakeups because so much of it is just like Japan, and then Nintendo of America is, I think, more or less just not reacting to it, but like they're not the ones making the decisions. So I think people forget so quickly. Like I think Doug Bowser should get a lot of credit for the Switch generation, with everything considered. And yes, like I thought he was boring, and there was times where he felt out of touch. But
Yeah.
honestly, I just wanted to say that I didn't really care that much. Like,
He was like a do nothing president, you know? He was just that middle guy that's getting us to the next guy. We'll see what the
yeah,
next guy is.
he's Calvin Coolidge. Or
Yeah, exactly.
or something. He. I don't know. Don't ask me. Ask Shane Gillis. Don't ask me. Um,
Nothing bad, nothing crazy.
but yeah, like was he Reggie? Like where
No.
he just he just exudes, like he just has that charisma. Like you can tell he loves games. No, but he was a president. He was a COO. That's different. He only has to do like maybe one or two interviews every year.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I saw a lot of people blaming him for things. He didn't make any of those decisions, guys. That's it. That's all I
Yeah.
had.
Nintendo of Japan makes all the decisions.
That's all I had. But it was big news. So I'm excited about.
Separating those two is what killed Sega, is letting the North America and Japan uh divisions make their own decisions, is what ruined Sega.
Yeah, and I'll be interested to see, like, does he like write a book, or does he get a new job? Because I mean, he was in gaming for so long before Nintendo, which is weird because his name's Bowser.
He's going over to Sega.
Yeah,
That would be crazy.
goes back to EA, something like that. Like
Yeah.
I just don't know. I really don't. Um, so I'm excited about your segment today.
Yeah,
Let's go.
so keeping in with the theme of Mario's 40th anniversary, I thought it would be pretty fun to just rank from best to worst the different Mario decades. So we're going to go through. These are not all of the Mario games that came out in the decades, they're just the highlights. Probably won't touch on the CDI games. There's some arcade games. I'm not going to be bringing up stuff like that. It's just mainly the console highlights and the movies too. So yeah, let's get in. I'll go through the decades and then we'll rank them. So the first decade, 1985 to 1995, we had the original Super Mario Brothers, or obviously Super Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario Brothers 3. Those are obvious. Then we also in that time had Super Mario Land on the Game Boy, and then Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo. This is a really good decade here. Dr. Mario came out in 1990 for a bunch of systems. Super Mario Land 2, Six Golden Coins, a personal favorite of mine, was also 1992. And Mario Paint came out in 1992. And lastly, we're capping the decade off with Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, which is a great, great finale here. Like one of the best Mario games. So, very, very solid decade, 85 to 95. Then you've got 96 to 2005. We've got Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, obviously one of my favorite games of all time. Great addition to the decade. Great start. Followed very quickly, I think it was months later, by Mario 64, another amazing game. Then you had Mario Kart 64. The Nintendo 64 was very good to Mario. You also had Mario Party 2, Mario Party 3, Paper Mario, Smash Brothers, all on the Nintendo 64, all in this decade. Then you've got the GameCube, also in this decade. We've got Luigi's Mansion. We've got Super Smash Brothers Melee. We've got Super Mario Sunshine. Wow, this is a crazy decade now that I'm looking at it. And then continuing the Mario Party series, you had 4, 5, and 6. You had some more Mario Karts in there, Mario Kart Super Circuit, um, Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, which is some people's like all-time favorite Mario game. Mario Party 7 also in there. And that brings us all the way up to 2005. Did I leave Mario Kart out of the previous generation? It looks like I did. The original Mario Kart's not listed here. So add that into the first decade. Or is that second decade?
Original Mario
It
Kart,
can't be. It's
SNES,
94, I think.
SNES Mario Kart is in the first decade, and then on this one we have 64 and
Yeah.
yeah,
I think original Mario
Super
Kart was
Circuit.
94. That's what I'm putting it in as a reminder. It's either 93 or 94. So it's in that decade for sure. Okay, and then the next decade, we've got 2006 to 2015. New Super Mario Brothers brought side scrolling back in 2006. Super Paper Mario 2007 brought Paper Mario to the Wii. We've got Super Mario Galaxy, which brought 3D Mario to the Wii. Mario Kart Wii, which brought Mario Kart to the Wii. And then New Super Mario Brothers Wii, which is where the title of those games starts getting confusing because then after that, the next game was New Super Mario Brothers 2, even though it was the third one. Anyway, we've got Super Mario Galaxy 2 in 2010. We've got Super Mario 3D Land in 2011, Mario Kart 7 in 2011 as well, New Super Mario Brothers 2 in 2012, New Super Mario Brothers U. So now we're into the Wii U in 2012. Man, systems, remember when systems didn't last 8 years? um, Paper Mario Sticker Star, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon 2013, Super Mario 3D World 2013, Mario Kart 8 2014, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker 2014, Super Smash Brothers for the 3DS and the Wii U in 2014, bringing that franchise in. Super Mario Maker, introduction of that on the Wii U in 2015. And then you had some of the Mario versus Donkey Kong games starting there as well. And you had Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. Now, it's interesting to look at these 2015 entries because I made a note. There's a YouTube channel called Straw Hat Midas. He's got a great video about how 2015 might be Nintendo's worst year. And if you think that's an exaggeration, it's not a quick video. he it's a 40-minute long video on why 2015 is their worst year. So maybe check out, decide for yourself if you think that's their worst year.
Yeah, yeah,
Anyway,
there's a lot of niche years in Nintendo, and
mhm.
it's almost like it's almost like seeing like an NBA player at the end of their career playing for a team that you forgot about. Because it's like
Yeah,
Scott the Waz did a video on 3DS games in 2017, or
yep,
I forget that uh, Mario RPG came out in 1996. Like I forget that it came
yeah.
out that late. So yeah,
And
or
then you remember when we did the Nintendo by year in one episode, there was like a year where they were supporting new games for, I think it was the Nintendo 64, the Game Boy Advance, the Game Boy Color, and the GameCube all at the same time, like 4 systems. So that's crazy.
right, right, like you could do N64 in like 2001, 2002. Like there's a lot of weird Nintendo years. But anyways, I interrupted. Go ahead.
No, that brings us to the final decade, 2016 to 2025. Started weak with Super Mario Run in 2016, but 2016 also gave us Color Splash on the Wii U. And then that's the last Wii U entry because we're finally into the Switch era. Crazy that this is like everything. Think of how big the list was for some of those decades. And now all I have left here is Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario Maker 2 in 2019, Paper Mario Origami King in 2020, Super Mario Brothers Movie, not even a game, in 2023, Mario and Luigi Brothership in 2024, Super Mario Party Jamboree in 2024, and Mario Kart World in 2025. So, yeah,
It's kind of
kind of.
strange that there's only I don't wait, hold on. Sorry. I only see one Mario movie listed on here. That's kind of strange.
That's true, yeah. We can add that into 1993 if we want, but I felt like that was already kind of stacked. But yeah, I'll add that in.
Yeah.
Mario movie.
That's kind of strange. And I guess like yeah, you did get like Mario Paint. Yeah, Mario is missing. Yeah, like there's some other strange titles in there as well. Uh,
Yeah,
but
like I said at the top, I was trying to keep it to like the highlights. Because especially in those early 80s, you've got like Donkey Kong, and then you've got Versus Mario, which is a weird arcade machine. You've got the arcade version of Super Mario Brothers. You've got what else is in there? You've got the arcade version of Mario Brothers without the word super. So there's a few things in there.
yeah, yeah, and then we should just stop there because then like we had cartoons and all of that
Yep.
as well. So, anyways, I would love to know. I'd like to know, okay, in the first decade, what do you think is the best game, and what is your favorite game of the first decade?
Um, I think my favorite game and the best game, I'm gonna say both are, and you're gonna disagree, but Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, I think is my favorite pick in that bunch there. Um, my top three would be Yoshi's Island, World, and 3. Those are all pretty heavy hitters.
Man, there's so many good ones. Like I was leaning towards Yoshi's Island being the second best. My favorite and what I think is the best is Mario Brothers 3, of course. But Mario Brothers 2 is like right up there with me also. Like that would be like my second favorite on here. Super Mario Land, yeah. Yoshi's Island, I think, is as far as quality, like maybe right up there as well. Next decade, what's the best and what's your favorite?
Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars, and I'll say Mario 64 might was yeah, that's this one. Mario 64 might have been the one that pushed things the furthest, but I think Super Mario RPG is my favorite for sure.
Man, oh man, I like for this I would say either Luigi's Mansion or Mario
Mm,
RPG. But man, they're like okay, okay. I'll just avoid talking about the rest because that's next. 2006, 2015, favorite and what's the best?
okay, let me look through the games. My favorite might be well, I think the best game in here is probably Mario Galaxy, but it's not my favorite. My favorite, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with 3D World is probably my favorite of these. I love 3D World, but I don't think it's the best. I think Galaxy is the most higher quality.
This is the lightest one for me. I'm either going Galaxy or 3D World, but 3D World without Bowser's Fury. Um,
Yeah.
Not so sure about that. Not so sure. And that's not. We should actually include that. We could include Bowser's Fury, kind of, in the next decade if you wanted to. But anyways, and then the final
Yeah.
decade. Final decade. I think I have a guess, but what would you say?
Mario Odyssey, definitely
What is
for both.
your second favorite of this decade? Brothership?
Um, no, I would go Origami King before Brothership. I think Origami King's a really good game that doesn't get half the love it deserves. It is really repetitive, but every Paper Mario game gets repetitive in my opinion. It's no more repetitive than the others, so I like it.
So I have my idea of how I'd rank these, but it's your segment, so how are we doing this?
I think then to me, I would say the top one is the OG decade, just because this is the decade that everything is chasing. Like, even when you get great games in older decades, you're like, "Oh, yeah, it made me feel like Super Mario Brothers 3 again," or "It made me feel like Super Mario Land again. It made me feel like Yoshi's Island again." It's got so many heavy hitters in here. We're not even talking about 6 golden coins, Super Mario Land 2, which is an amazing Game Boy title. And you also brought Mario into the puzzle element with Dr. Mario there. So, and Mario Kart, the first Mario Kart, which I've said in previous episodes is my favorite Mario Kart. People think that's crazy, but I love the Super Nintendo Mario Kart. So, yeah, I think the best of these decades is the first one. What about you?
I okay, yeah, we'll do it this way in order. I think 1996 to 2005 is the best decade by far. Um,
Okay.
like the original one is important because it's the original one, and then everything that followed it came from the original one. But if I'm looking at 1996 to 2005, if I go beyond just Mario 64, I mean, when I think Mario Kart, I do think Mario Kart 64, even though it's not the first one. Um, when I think Mario, I think Mario Party, and we had one, two, three, four, five, six, and seven in that decade. Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers was one of the most just everyone knew about that game when it came out.
Yeah.
like
Yeah, you're turning me around here. I was gonna rank that second anyway, but now that you're mentioning it, yeah, that totally is better. So I would flop them and put
yeah,
this as number one, put the first decade as number two.
yeah, and
But
yeah,
there's
and
so
then
much good stuff in here. You're right.
and then I think it expands a little bit more because I'll jump ahead and say I think the first decade is the second best, but I'll stick with the 90s, like this 96 2005. It also includes Mario RPG all the way up to Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. In a 10-year span, we get Mario RPG to Thousand Year Door. You included Luigi's Mansion, that's fair. But if we're including that, I think that is a huge selling point for this decade. Uh, yeah, like although it might not be my favorite decade, I think it's
Mhm.
the best Mario decade by a lot. And it doesn't even include what I think to be the best Mario game either. I should include that.
It also caps off with Thousand Year Door, which is a game that people still worship. So
Yeah,
yeah, there's a lot of heavy hitters in here.
yeah,
You've turned me around.
and,
You're right. This is number one. The first decade is number two,
yeah. And isn't it
and then I
crazy?
think go ahead.
I'm sorry, isn't it crazy? Like 8 year span between Mario RPG and Thousand Year Door, like that's like saying that's the same thing. That's the same as going from the beginning of the Switch to right now. That's the same
Well, you had
span of
Paper
time that we
Mario in
have.
there. Paper Mario is the first step in there in 2001.
Well,
So,
but I'm just saying, like in comparison, an 8 year span
yeah.
going from Mario RPG to that. I mean, of
Yep.
course, we don't see
Oh, I see what you're
step
saying
ups.
from the first game of the decade to the last game. Yeah.
Right, right. I mean, that's the same span of time that we see with the Nintendo Switch lifespan. But of course, as as technology gets better, and of course, we're not going to see jump ups like that,
Hmm.
as time goes on. Um, so
So then
yeah,
the question is, do you think the Switch era is better than the Wii U, DS, Wii era? Because those are the two left for third and fourth spot.
yes, yes.
You think the Switch era is better? That what you're saying?
I think the Switch era is better, and only thing I'm looking at is Mario Kart 8. That's the only thing I'm looking at.
Hmm.
The Mario Kart 8 is 2014, but if you were like to ask me which decade it belongs in, uh,
Yeah.
I might say
And
that
you've got Odyssey, Luigi's Mansion 3, Origami King. The Super Mario Brothers movie was a huge step for everything. Brothership's not bad. Mario Party. You had some good Mario parties on the Switch. Um, Switch was Switch was very good for Mario. That's why everyone's so hungry for Mario Odyssey 2 right now.
yeah, I'm basically looking at Mario Odyssey is a huge game, and then in the decade before that, it's the biggest one is 3D World or Mario Kart 8 if we're going to include that. So then I'd have to, and then I think there's a big jump between Odyssey and 3D World, so I had to keep going. Think, does Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 make it better? I don't think so. Does
Well,
having,
here's why I
yeah,
think the fourth decade is better is a lot of times lists don't take into account because they only want to credit the original release. But if you do the that plus more kind of logic, you've got all these things that were introduced that decade. Plus, like you said, you have 3D World with Bowser's Fury released. You have um, the Mario makers that were released on the Switch. You have Super Mario Brothers Wii U Deluxe on the Switch. So like all of the stuff that was worth playing in the previous decade was re-released in the following decade.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, there's a huge drop off, I think, which is crazy because yes, I mean, we still have games like Galaxy 1 and 2. But I think
Mhm.
there is a huge gap from like the first 20 years than like the next 20 years. And that's just expected. I think because you know, there's just more also there's just more games out there at that time as
Yep.
well. So I mean, what else can I say? I think Odyssey single-handedly takes over that decade. And yes, I'm still putting Mario Kart 8 kind of in the last decade. I don't
Well, that's when people actually played it
when
because
they played
nobody
it.
had a Wii U.
Right. Right. So, I mean, even if you wanted to just separate it and put like 8 and then 8 Deluxe in the next one, then I would still say that of course the this last decade is better than the one before it. So 2, 1, 4, 3. I think is what we're going with.
Correct.
1,
Correct.
4, 3. Last question for you on this. What is one title on here that you haven't played or haven't played that much that you want to play?
Mario Galaxy 2, man, I'm super pumped that they're releasing it. The only two mainline Mario games, like I'm not counting the CDI games or anything. The only two mainline Mario games I haven't played are Mario Galaxy 2 and New Super Mario Brothers 2 on the 3DS. So this now once I play Galaxy 2, I'll just have to go on like Facebook Market and buy like a cheap copy of New Super Mario Brothers 2 and get that out of my system. But yeah, I was actually kind of bummed that that rumored new Super Mario Brothers collection didn't come to fruition, but maybe someday.
I'm looking at 1996 now, and maybe we can speculate on that. Okay, it'll be 30 years since Mario 64. It'll be 30 years
Hmm.
since the first Mario RPG. It'll be 30 years since Mario Kart 64. Whatever. Well, 97 in America, but uh, I wonder if 2026 we would see 3D Mario. Or I wonder what the future
He's
of
got to show up eventually.
and then yeah, I mean Mario RPGs, we could see a new Mario RPG, we could see a Mario Luigi game, we could see a Paper Mario game. Uh, I really don't know at this point.
As they once said, the best is yet to come. I don't know if the best is yet to come, but more is yet to come, for sure.
As they say, we can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way. I've been hearing that a lot this week. Um,
Yep.
we are at 1 hour 10 minutes. Do you want to do?
No, we'll save the spotlight for when Sean comes back. He's got some notes in there, and we've got a plenty episode. The spotlight segment really only exists in case we can't fill time anyway.
Yeah,
So, um, yeah,
yeah, and we always
I
keep
think
this
I've
part
mentioned that
in.
on here, but
Yeah, we're
yeah,
always doing live
I've mentioned
production
that on here
notes.
before. As we thought of that because we were like, what if there's a slow news week? Well, we'll always have Switch Online games to talk about. So yeah. Thank everybody for listening. And we will be back next week. Oh, I'm not going to be here next week, so we're going to be now. You guys can talk about the spotlight without me if you don't run long. So we'll be back next week, and we may or may not talk about the spotlight. Depends on if Harrison and Sean talk too long. We'll see if that happens. In the meantime, you can find us on Blue Sky. Email us, nintendotherapypodcast@gmail.com, and leave a like and do us a favor and subscribe. It really helps. You can see we are a small channel. We would like to become a bigger channel. So do that for us. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Bye.